Welcome, and thank you all for joining and watching this video for a little bit to learn what the action items are. Um, we're trying out a new tool here, so we'll see how this goes for use of that all. But also, please stay through the entire presentation because the action items are at the end, and want to make sure that you're aware of what the action items are. Okay. All right. There was a number of agreements on April the 9th, 2015, the SPC meeting, on the development of a tool and a process for helping section leaders to make commitments and to find the resources to implement their commitments in for the plans for the year. So we're going to go over the tool a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the current status, and then at the end I'll get to where I need your help and the action items that I want people to work. So let's go to the next slide. This is in here, this for information. This is just the strategic plan objectives for Region 4. There's inspire, enable, empower, and engage. We get a little play on the IEEE words, but we have specific objectives in each of those areas. And this is just kind of background. It's not essential that you understand all of this in working the action items, but I thought you might find the information useful. So let's go on. So what does this tool look like? We ask each of the section leaders in this tool to plan actions in these areas of inspire, enable, empower, and engage. So in using the tool, they will enter the tool for each of those 4 areas, and then under each of those areas there'll be initiatives which they're to choose from, and we're asking them to select a few initiatives within each of the 4 areas that we have goals for, and then when they click on the initiatives in the tool, it'll show them the resources that are available to them to actually implement those initiatives in their section or chapter. And the reason we're doing this is because there's so many resources out there that I think section leaders are overwhelmed by the magnitude of the resources, and so we're trying to give them a tool to thread their way through the resources in planning what initiatives they want to use. And then the process will ask the section leaders to commit to doing 1 or more of these initiatives in each of these 4 areas. So let's just go and look at an example under Inspire. So when they click on Inspire, they might get a list corresponding to something like this, which has a number of initiatives that they would choose from. Use existing members to reach out to colleagues, micro-volunteering, mentors, webinars, etc. So then when they click on this, they would get a list of resources, and we'll come to that. Current status. We have created in the brainstorming exercise we did in the Strategic Planning Committee meeting a couple of weeks ago a list of initiatives from which the OU leader, the section leader, is to select in building a plan. And we now need your help in creating the resource list that comes up for each of these initiatives when section leaders are using the tool. All right? And the action for each initiative, and the last 4 slides here will show you what the initiatives are, and there'll be a member of the region committee, the SPC committee, that suggested it, and I'm asking you to take a minute to look at the initiative title and wordsmith it so that it's useful and meaningful to section leaders, and then to create a list with links, if possible, to resources that are available to the section leader in support of accomplishing that initiative. Some examples of things you might want to consider including are things like an introductory note, kind of like a README file, training modules on tools, roles, etc., like CLE, vTools, NetSuite, whatever it is they're doing. Best practices, for example, the Region 4, Region 6 list. There may be other best practices that are available online that you want to reference. Any of those are fair game to include in this list. I'm also suggesting you might consider whether there's a Region 4 leader, perhaps yourself, who wants to be the contact and support person that you would be willing to consult with and help any section leader do these, implement a particular initiative, and finally anything else that might be useful. So this is just whatever resources you're aware of that would be useful to accomplish a particular initiative. And in most cases you suggested the initiative, so I hope you have some ideas of resources that people could use. So now we come to the list of initiatives. And what I've done is put a list of the initiatives that were brainstormed or were underway for each of the 4 areas. And I've included on the right then the person that I see as owning the action item to create the list that we talked about in the previous slide. So the names on this particular page are Bob Perro, Dave Hendrickson, Dave Hoff, Bromlett, Don Bromlett, Tom Papadomus, Howard Wolfman, John Johnson, Ashley Hofstetter, Bob Perro, Tarek Ladiri, and Karen Pedersen. So for each of those, if your name is by the action item, then the expectation is that you will look at the resource list and take a shot at it and then send it in. Okay, in power, we have Pedersen, Don Bromlett, Tarek Ladiri, Bob Perro, Dave Hoff, John Johnson, and Karen Pedersen. For enable, we've got initiatives, and need resource lists from Pedersen, from Sander, Hendrickson, Dave Bromlett, Patel, Pedersen, and Hamid Vakelzadian. All right. For engage, Sander, Perro, Pedersen, Johnson, Patel, Hamid Vakelzadian, and Bob Perro. All right. So for each of those areas, when you get the material put together, there'll be a Google Drive place where you can share drive where you'll be able to submit it, and it should be in the email that came out from Bob. So hopefully you have that, and you can put the files there. You'll also find a copy of these slides, so if you want to go through them slowly and pick out your action items, that's available on this drive slide folder. All right. So when should it be done? We're looking to have the input in hopefully by May the 28th when the next SPC meeting is, but I also put the next one beyond that, July the 9th, and I put that on there too because July the 2nd is the first Thursday, but that's right before the 4th of July weekend, and so I don't think it's a good idea to have a meeting on July the 2nd. So anyway, thanks again for your support, and thanks again for working these action items on an expeditious basis. Thank you.